What's up? Welcome back to Planet Expression. Just in case you forgot, here's your reminder. You have a body, but you are not the body. You have a mind, but you are not the mind. You are spirit, and there's no need to fear it. I'm Expression, and I'm simply here to express nothing more, nothing less. So let's jump right into this week's topic. And this week's topic has actually been on my mind for a few weeks, okay? And I was thinking, how should I even approach this? But I'm just going to dive straight into it and just give y'all a piece of my mind because this is what this is about, okay? This is the mind section of the channel. So I took just a few small little notes so I can stay on track because my mind it be going sometimes. So I gotta temper it. So today's topic is social media war between men and women. Now I'm actually going to break this down into three phases. I'm going to break it down into social media. I'm going to break it down into women, and then I'm going to break it down into men. All right. So I feel like that's a good way to organize it to kind of keep my thoughts on track because it's all going to come together at the end, hopefully. All right. So let's just jump into it. First off, what you need to know, or what I think you should know, is what social media is. I feel like most of us don't really have like a clear understanding of what social media is or what it has become. Okay, I feel like most of us are still hanging on to the old version of social media. When I say the old version, I mean when it first came out. Like it was really an authentic place where people really came to express their opinion and uh things were just real, like I'm talking about this was around the time we had like MySpace and stuff like that. Like that's my era. I'm a 95 baby, okay? So I was here before it even like popped off because this all happened like in the early 2000s. But that's when social media was just taking off and just, up and coming and when things were actually real, okay? Now, here in 2025, okay? Um Almost 2 decades later, well, yeah, about 2 decades later, things are very different. It's no longer what it once was, okay? So right now, social media is all about marketing. It's all about making money. It's no longer about authenticity. It really isn't. I'm going to be 100% honest. This is from my observation and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. Social media is no longer about authenticity. It's about what is going to sell. I don't care what social media platform you're on, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Twitter, whatever it is, what is going to sell? What is going to get the most attention, meaning what's going to get the most views, the most eyes on it, what's going to get the most likes, what's going to get the most engagement, because that is going to translate into dollars, it's going to translate into, okay, I can market. I can market this. I can promote something. That's what this is all about. So it's very challenging to find, let's say, an authentic channel that isn't doing it just for the money, okay? Or isn't just doing it for the views, so to speak. It's very challenging. Very challenging. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's far few in between. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. And I want to give a shout out to one YouTuber that I absolutely love. I've been watching him for years. He lives the kind of lifestyle that I live in a way. His name is Timothy Ward. Okay. I've been watching him for years. Like he's a minimalist like I am, and I started my minimalism journey when I moved to Mexico. Yeah. So back in 2018, 2019, that's when I started my minimalist journey or whatever. And I think I discovered him like a few years later. And I was like, this is probably the only person that's really like living the kind of lifestyle that really resonates with me. But just shout out to Timothy Ward. I just wanted to say that. So anyways, I'll link his channel in the description below because I really just mess with him and I feel like he is an authentic being and he has his own niche. The reason why I brought him up because he is one of the few that I feel like he has his own niche and he's also found success in his own niche, which is absolutely amazing. And to get back on track with social media, it just feels like everyone hops on what's trendy because that's what it's about. The trends is what's bringing in the views. That's what's bringing in the clicks, the comments, the likes, and all of that. Also, what people need to understand when it comes to social media is there is a such thing as rage bait. Okay, so people will post things or say things, make videos or whatever that are meant to elicit very strong reactions from you. Okay, like I'm really trying to I feel like the goal of this is really to understand the influence that social media is having over people so that way you can take your power back or as much of it back as possible. Because I feel like we, and sometimes myself included, we give way too much power to social media itself. You know, like the only reason it has influence is because we give it the attention in order to have influence, right? So, for example, it's just like the news. All right, what the attention that you give to these social media platforms or to the news or whatever, they harvest that energy. They use it. Okay, they use it to make more and more. They basically keep your attention because all of this is an attention game. People think money is the most valuable currency. Money is not the most valuable currency. It is your attention. It's your energy, what you are giving your focus to. Okay? Like, why do you think the advertisement industry is spending billions and probably even hell trillions at this point of dollars to market things to you? Because it's all about your attention. That is the most valuable currency. That's why think about it this way. I love to use this analogy because this really just like nails the head on the head. Nails, wait, how to say it? Hammer the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. You know what the hell I'm trying to say. Anyways, this really takes it home. You know why athletes and celebrities and people, who are, let's just say, in the entertainment industry, they get paid more, much more than, let's say, educators like teachers and doctors and people who are not saying that their job isn't important, but these people, they literally represent the fabric of society. Like, they, without doctors, without teachers, excuse me, without these leaders in their own right, without them, our society as we know it would just crumble, because they are essential workers. But it seems like the essential workers are the ones that aren't getting paid what they're worth. But we have our entertainers who are getting paid so much more money, right? You want to know why that is? Because attention, the attention they're able to grab, right? Because the more attention, the more that companies, corporations can market through these individuals. It's all one big game. It's an attentions game. And once you realize it's an attention game, you realize, wait, my money isn't the actual thing they want. They want my attention. Well, the money follows after the attention. But if you can focus or redirect what you give your attention to, you take your power back. Because it's like if you see what people are doing, or you see what these companies are doing, what they're advertising to people, because they're always trying to get you to buy something. Think about it. These corporations, they spend so much money. Social media platforms as well, okay? Because I'm staying on track. These social media platforms, you want to know why they always they have you agree to all of these things about your data and all. Your data is being sold, but it's being studied, and it's being studied in order to get into your psychology, into your mind, so that way you are more susceptible to whatever products or whatever they want to promote, because it gets into your subconscious, and then you don't understand why you're buying something. It's most times you don't understand why the hell you're buying something. You're just supporting something. But trust me, there has been some prepping going on before you even bought whatever it is you bought. Okay. I'm just saying. Now, I'm going to try to stay on track because I was about to go off and just go into a whole nother rant. But yes, understand that social media is an attentions game, and whatever it takes to get your attention, people are willing to do it. Okay. So when you see these extreme videos and you see these extreme situations, just know people are looking to grab your attention, because when they grab your attention, that attention converts into dollars, okay, for affiliate marketing and all of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying all of it is bad. No, like, I feel like if you're using it in a responsible way, definitely like do it. It's a great opportunity. But I feel like right now, as I'm recording this video in 2025, I feel like what's prevalent is negative news and rage bait, and just basically saying any and everything to get people riled up, to get those comments, to get those likes, to get those shares and all of that, to basically get that viral moment. Okay. So you can get or harness all the attention and all that negative attention that it brings, and then profit off of it. But you're profiting off of it while it's actually damaging people's psychology. I don't mess with that. Okay. That's not my style. So anyways, I just wanted to spread that awareness because, as I put in my notes, I've put a place where people come to share their opinion, which it was in the past, and people are sharing their opinions now, but I feel like the opinions are more skewed now because now there's an incentive. See what I'm saying? Before there wasn't really an incentive. People just were sharing their thoughts, their organic thoughts, and just saying whatever and doing whatever. Boom! It was really natural and organic. But now there's so many incentives to get monetized and so on and so forth that now your opinion can be bought or can be skewed in a way. You feel me? Not everyone. I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I'm saying the majority. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's that. There's some more I want to say, but let's just move on because if I keep going, I can see myself going into a whole new topic. So the topic is, of course, social media war between men and women. I think now that we have sort of an understanding, or you see at least where I'm coming from when it comes to social media, because it's not all bad. There's a good and a bad to everything. Okay, let me just put that out there. Okay, but now let's move on to the actual war and the influence that social media has had between men and women. And the reason why I chose this topic is because I've been seeing it on my feed in so many different forms. Okay, now when I say I've been seeing it on my feed, on my YouTube feed, as well as like just on Instagram, like how men and women seem to be attacking each other, and these videos are just like circulating and everyone is kind of like going on tangents about this whole situation. Child, my leg went to sleep for a second. I had to unfold it. Ooh, I got the little tingles right now, so I'm coming down off of it. But this whole war between men and women, I just want to say stop it. Just stop it. Because listen, men need women and women need men. I don't care how you want to put it. I don't care how you want to spin it. And this is coming from a gay man. Okay. So listen, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm letting you know right now, men need women and women need men. Point blank period. Now I can put this in a spiritual perspective for those who may appreciate that more, but all I'm gonna say is you can't have one without the other. You can't have the yin without the yang. It just won't work. Okay, it's like peanut butter and jelly, they go together. Okay, now here's what let's start with women. Yeah, ladies first, ladies first. So the argument that I'm seeing when it comes from women, from most women, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just from what I've observed. Not saying I've observed everything. Obviously, I don't know everything. I'm just telling y'all what I know or what I've seen thus far. All right. Number one, there's an argument that's saying men are no longer men. Now, that's an argument on the women's side, like men are no longer men. Now, what actually is a man is what we need to dissect. I feel like there's a lot of confusion. That's why there's so many different videos saying so many different things because we don't have like a clear foundation or a clear basis on what is a man. And the same thing for a woman. We don't have like a clear standard or like what actually makes a man. Like what are the qualities that makes a man? That's very different depending on who you're talking to. So of course you're going to get so many different answers, right? So first things first, you have to define what is a man for you. Because I can guarantee you, if you are a woman watching this, let's say there are let's say there are 5 women watching this video right now. All 5 of y'all are going to have different qualities that you look for within a man. So for example, let's say woman A says a man has these 3 qualities. Woman B is probably going to list 3 other qualities. So let's say they see a man, woman A sees a man that woman B would consider a man. He has all the qualities of woman B and her expectations. She's not going to call him a man because he doesn't meet her criteria. So it really depends on who we're talking to. Okay. So we need to get that clear first. All right. What is your definition of what a man is? All right. If your definition is he's a protector, he's a provider, which I would think would be like the standard or the traditional role of a man. All right, the protector, the provider, he makes sure the family is together. He's the head of the household, so on and so forth. He's the leader of the family, the head, right? If that's your definition of what a real man is, then that is what you want to seek out. That is what you're going to look for. Other women's definition of a man is one who isn't afraid to let the woman lead, one who doesn't mind their woman making, the same amount of money or whatever, or basically doing things that traditionally a man would do, so on and so forth. So you see how we have different definitions of what a man is for different people, and the definitions go on and on. Those are just the main two that stand out in my mind, so that's why I'm speaking on it. But you need to figure out what your definition is, so that way you know what exactly the hell you're looking for. Okay, moving on. This is a big one. This is a huge one. Most men are DL, or down low. That has been a hot topic, especially recently. I guess with so many, I guess, men being outed or whatever the case is. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying all men are DL, because they're not. Okay. But what I am going to say is there's always been DL men, okay, since the beginning of time, just because the way society's set up and how men are supposed to portray themselves, okay? Now, I may get some slack for this, but I'm going to just say it. Being that, because I look at most things through a spiritual lens, okay? That's something that you guys are going to need to know about me. So that dictates I would say a great portion of how I see things, but I also have that logical mind as well. Okay, so sometimes I turn the spiritual mind off and I put in the logic. But I look at everything from an energetic standpoint in a way. If there's a black, there's a white. If there's a up, there's a down. If there are DL men, you best believe there are DL women as well on both sides. Many people don't talk about that side of it though. Okay. Listen, we can get into some things, all right? Because just like we have DL men, we have DL women. We have women who are married right now in relationships with men who actually would prefer to be with a woman. Okay. But that's a topic for another day. All right. I started itching because we were about to get into some things, but we ain't finna do that right now. We're gonna focus on the women's side of the argument. Most men are DL. Yes, some of them are, and some of them aren't. I think accusing a man of being DL is very, very disrespectful and very harmful, because what you're doing is you're diminishing his character. Um, and it's just simply, how can I say this? Because I'm trying to be respectful with this whole thing. I feel that real conversations aren't being had between people, between men and women, right? When I say real conversations, I mean real conversations, all right? Like, as far as what are you interested in? You know what I mean? And when I say what are you interested in, like, where's your mind? Where's your mentality? Like, what do you stand for? What are you about? Asking that questions on both sides, because if there is an open space, if there's a safe space to have a conversation, you will see exactly what you're getting yourself into before you even get to the damn the wedding. I almost say the wedding aisle, the church or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, before you even walk down the aisle, you will know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Okay. Now let's talk about this concept of DL, which means down low. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. We all are human beings, right? Within all humans, there is a percentage, some more than others. There is a percentage of, we can say, let's say bisexual tendencies. There's an attraction to the same sex at some level for both men and women. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. It's just part of like nature. You can look it up. Do not take my word for it. Actually, like, studies have been shown. I'm not a studies person, but I know for a fact that there are studies out there that prove exactly what I'm saying. There is a certain percentage of, let's say, you can say, homosexual tendencies within men and women. Okay. Now, some have a greater percentage and some have a lesser percentage. Like, for example, for a woman, you can look at another woman and be like, damn, she looks good. Oh, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't mean you want to, like, sleep with her or anything, but you can definitely admire the beauty of another woman. The same for men, but with men, it's more stigmatized, and it's more like, oh, I can't say it. I can't say, bro, he looks good. Like, he's handsome. No, no, they'll think I'm gay or whatever. It's kind of like there's an attraction, but it doesn't mean he wants to sleep with him. It's just like, damn, like, that brother look fine. It's kind of like that. But he can't say that outwardly, because then he'll be classified as gay or DL or whatever the case is, right? So, um, there is always a level. I don't care what it is. There's always a level of let's say homosexual tendencies, okay, on both sides. Just the percentage varies and is different, okay? So, um, I feel like I'm getting lost in the sauce. But this argument between most men are DL, I feel like if you don't have any actual, let's say, evidence or proof or anything, please do not, please don't do that, because that's just waging another, how can I say it, gap, or is dividing men and women even more. You feel me? Because now it feels like most women now, they have to look over their shoulder, or they're thinking that their guy is talking to another guy. Like they're like, shit, I can compete with a woman, but I can't compete with a damn man. You feel me? Which I totally understand that, but it's like I feel like social media is making it seem like all men are DL. No, they're not. No, you have men out here who are actually real men, who are about their family, who are about their wives, who are about their women. You feel me? And then, yes, you do have men who are DL because of whatever their circumstance is. Maybe it's not safe for them to be, who they truly are, and so on and so forth. A lot of programming and conditioning. Everyone has a specific case, okay? I can't speak for everybody. But it's one of those things where I feel like this is where conversations need to be had, like literally looking into the person's history, their backstory, and all, like really getting to know people, dating, actually dating, not just dating for looks or whatever. No, see what's within someone, literally. Okay, see what's within. Like, what are they made of? What is their, like, I don't want to say do some investigation or do some research, but it's kind of like take time to actually learn about the person. Ask them questions, ask them, and you can do it in a creative way. Like you don't necessarily, I don't want to say be manipulative, because no, but it's like you can be direct and ask these questions or whatever. And if you feel like your partner is like lying or something, because sometimes you can want an answer, but if they don't give you that answer, you think they're lying. That's another thing to look out for, okay? Don't shoot yourself in the foot like that, okay? Most times people are being honest, but there are times when people are lying. But if you listen, if you got a strong intuition, if you watching this video, you probably do have a strong intuition. You know if someone's lying or someone isn't. We here, okay? So sometimes you can just take things at face value, and other times you have to go a bit, you know, below the surface to see what's actually being said. Because people will tell you exactly who they are or what they're about if you can just listen to them. Without, if you can cast your judgments aside or your opinions or what you think, because a lot of times we fall in love with the projection of people. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. We fall in love with the projections. We project onto them this image that we want them to have, and we blind ourselves from what they're actually showing us, who they truly are. Okay, a lot of times that happens with women. Women do that to men. I'm no relationship expert. I'm no relationship. Listen, I don't know shit about that. Okay, that's not my realm. Okay, but a lot of times, just as human beings, because men do it to women as well. Okay, it happens on both sides. So we typically cast an illusion or cast what we want in a partner, and we basically see them through that lens versus who they actually are. Because a lot of times they've been showing you who they are the whole entire time, but you just weren't paying attention. You were so focused on how you want them to be that you didn't really see the truth or the reality of the situation. Okay? I digress. But yeah, please don't assassinate anyone's character by calling them DL, okay? Especially if you don't have any um factual or hard proof, And when I say hard proof, I mean like you actually like have seen him with another man or whatever the case is. Because at this point, child, we we can get some things. I'm about to say some other stuff, but I'll save that for another day. Okay. Um, and then when it comes to men, women are too independent or women are sluts and this, that, and the third. Just cut it out. Cut it out, because we all know that there's a double standard for both men and women. Men can sleep with how many and whoever they want and they're just fine. But when women decide to have at least a second sexual partner, she's the biggest whore in town. No, she's not. No, she's not. Don't do that. Like, don't even do that. Because ain't even that kind of party. It's really not. Now, this is coming from a man. I'm a gay man, but I also like have the mind of a man. But the blessing for me is that I also I have half of a mind of a woman in a way, and half the mind of a man. So I can literally see both sides of the of the street, okay, or both sides of the spectrum, because I can like think in a way that women think, but I also think in a way that a man thinks as well. So it's like I kind of get the best of both worlds. So I feel like that kind of gives me a unique perspective on both situations. Now, before we get into it any further, I'm going to let you know how I personally feel about this. I personally feel that women represent the internal landscape of men. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Women represent the internal landscape of men. That's very symbolic. And I'm not religious. Okay. Y'all know I'm spiritual. But I believe even in the Bible, um, Eve was made from the rib of Adam, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Don't quote me, child. Okay? My Christians, where you at? Comment down. Let me know what's going on. But I'm pretty sure it's Eve was made from the rib, okay, of Adam, and that's internal, isn't it? Now, from a spiritual standpoint, Yin is the feminine and Yang is the masculine. Okay. Now, Yin is seen as the internal, and the internal is always seen as more how can I say it? The internal, of course, is hidden because it's represented by the moon, whereas Yang is represented by the sun. Okay. um when I say women are the internal landscape of men, I personally feel like women are the physical manifestation of what men are internally. That's why most men feel comfortable opening up to women, because when they open up they will feel more comfortable opening up to a woman than they would another man, because a woman represents that softness that they have inside, and it's like they can feel safe to kick their feet up and be at home and be all cuddly and all just like playful and be a little bit childish with the woman, because they represent that nurturing aspect that they have within them. So that's why most men are like really protective over women, because it's like when they protect the woman, they're actually protecting their internal world. Okay. I know that, listen, we can have like a whole conversation on that. That's my own little philosophy. It's something I came up with just from like reading, from doing readings, and just from what I've observed, and like how men and women interact with each other. That's kind of my interpretation of it. I feel like um women do represent the internal nature of men, honestly. Right? They're the physical manifestation or representation of the internal sphere of a man, and vice versa. Men are the external representation of women. Okay. So, like I said, they go together, yin and yang. You need one. You can't have one without the other. Right. But I go back to the argument that men are making, and like women are too independent, like they don't need us anymore. They're not. We have to go back to the definition of what is a woman. Okay. Like, what actually is a woman to you? What's a woman? Because that's going to be different depending on who you're talking to. So I feel like this all goes back to your definition. What do you equate a woman to be? What do you equate a man to be? Because once you have that definition, my legs are going numb, okay? But once you have that definition, then you know exactly what you're looking for. Many times we don't have a clear definition, or we have mixed signals or mixed definitions that we don't even know what the hell we're looking for. So even if the right man or the right woman were to come into your life, you wouldn't even recognize it, because you don't even have the clear definition of what it is that you're looking for, or what it is that makes a man, or what it is that makes a woman a woman. You don't even have a clear definition. So how the hell are you gonna know exactly like what it is that you want if you have these confusing ass definitions? And it's no fault to you, the viewer, or anyone else, because we are getting bombarded with so many different ideas and so many mixed signals. Like, you're hearing one thing, but you're seeing a different thing, and it's like it's so much. So I get how it's confusing, but it's like this is where taking your attention and taking your power back comes from. Like, what do you want? What do you see as the qualities that you value within a man? Or what are the qualities that are characteristics uh that you value within a woman? Once you have that clear, Just you can block out all the noise with people telling you what a man should be and telling you what a woman should be, and you go off of your own definition. And I guarantee you, will find somebody who matches that definition, and that will be the man or the woman for you. Okay, because that's going to be based off of your definition, not based off of society's mixed ass signals or mixed definitions. Okay, so it's about really taking your mind back and taking back your own definition, taking back your own values, what you stand for, what you want, right? So that goes for both men and women. Okay. So yeah, this whole thing about men wanting women who are pure, who haven't been touched or who have been lightly touched, so to speak. Cut that shit out. It's an illusion. Like, come on now. Co- Men, come on now. Come on. Come the fuck on. Like, really, I get it. I get it because men, okay, women, you're watching. Men want someone that men are very territorial and by nature, very territorial, meaning they want something that someone else hasn't had or doesn't have. That's where like the trophy wife and all that stuff comes in. But I'm telling you right now, it's in a man's nature. He wants something that not many have experienced or not many has because it's seen as more valuable. That's why, let's say, the less bodies you have, the more valuable you seem to a man. Okay, that's just what it is. But the reality of a situation, it's not like that. Okay. How the hell do you want a woman? A woman needs experience. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you my definition of a woman. Let me get clear about my definition. Okay. My definition of a woman is someone who has dealt with different experiences in life. She's overcame them or she's overcoming them, and it's just a woman is someone with experience. And when I say experience, like she has learned how to regulate her internal world, her emotions. She knows when to be nurturing, but she also knows when to use her logic and know when she needs to balance into her masculine and feminine. So my definition for what a man is and for a woman is actually very similar. It's just someone that's balanced in both of their energies, in both their masculine and feminine. Okay, so it's very similar for both. It's just some of the characteristics are a bit different, but I have the same definition for both what a man is and both what a woman is. Okay. But I still hold that traditional aspect as well. Like a woman definitely, in my opinion, is more nurturing by nature, but she also knows when to, I would say, cut that nurturing off. It's almost like she knows when to cut the umbilical cord, right? And she knows when to turn her logic on and be like, okay, it's time to get up off these emotions and it's time to get shit done. You feel me? And the man is the same one. Even for me, the definition of a man is a similar thing. It's like, okay, he definitely leads with logic, but he also knows how to tap into his emotions and actually like uh tap into his empathy, understanding another human being and actually have the capability and the capacity to actually hold space for someone emotionally, right? So he's emotionally intelligent, right? um and also when it comes to women, um that balancing of emotions, most women are naturally emotionally intelligent, but a lot of times it's more on the darker aspect where it's emotionally manipulative. So they may pretend to be caring in order to extract the information that they need, and then boom, they just, they use the information that they've extracted against you. Many women do that. Okay, that is not a balanced feminine, in my opinion. Okay, a balanced feminine knows how to use the information that she's given for not only her benefit but the benefit of the other as well. Okay, it's used in a balanced way. It's not used in spite or to be vengeful or vindictive or whatever the case is. Okay, it's actually used in a balanced way, like using the information to see how can I use this information in order to better improve the relationship. How can I use this information that my partner has given me in order to help us grow, in order to help us expand, So it's really cherishing and honoring and protecting the vulnerability that your man or your partner displays or shows you, and vice versa for for the man. You don't disregard, the emotions or the intuition of a woman. No, you actually take the time to try to understand that, because when you take the time to understand your woman, what you're actually doing is taking the time to understand yourself. Because, like I said, I feel like women are the internal landscape of men, and most men were never told or taught how to look inward, right? They were always, most of us, we're taught how to look externally for everything to measure up to someone else. Well, no, you actually are meant to look inside yourself to see what you're made of. And I feel like your woman can be a great mirror or can be a great reflection of that, but you have to take the time to understand her, because when you take the time to understand her, you're actually taking the time to understand yourself, which in the long term is just going to make you two stronger in the end. Okay? Anyways, I feel like that was kind of wordy, but that's how I feel. Okay, I said what I said. So yeah, this whole war between men and women is something that has been created by social media. Not saying it's not always been there, of course, because there's injustices on both sides. Women have been treated like shit throughout history, okay, by men. And this is not making an excuse. I'm just saying that's what it is, okay? But also, men have been held to a standard that doesn't truly represent what a true man is. Okay? It's more, how can I say it? Men have been slaves to the ego. Okay? And when I say slaves to the ego, whoever created this identity of what a man is was definitely operating out of an egoic place and not from a holistic place, meaning considering the whole. No. Whoever created the current male archetype was more of, what's the word I'm looking for? My mind went blank, y'all. There's a specific word I was looking for, but I can't think of it. But all I'm gonna say is the current male archetype was definitely constructed by the ego and thinking about itself, self-serving, what's going to benefit me versus what's going to benefit the whole, what's going to benefit the collective. Okay. So, yeah, my mind's about to cut off, so I think that's a great time to start wrapping this up, okay? Because there's only about so much that can come out before I just start going into so many different areas that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I'm going to take that as a sign that I said what I needed to say, okay? And my mind is content with what was said, all right? But if you got any value from this, definitely comment below. Let me listen. We gonna play the game, okay? But comment below, let me know what you think. Also, let me know your opinion or your side of this situation, because like I said, I don't know everything. I'm just telling y'all what the hell I think, okay? And I'm subjected to be wrong, and I'm okay with that. But I do feel like this is a great way to open up the discussion so that we can actually have like a better understanding of one another, and just to wrap everything up and take it home, what is your definition of what a man is, and what is your definition of what a woman is? And once you're clear on that, block out all the noise from everything and everyone else and just go by your definition, okay? Because I promise you, someone is going to present themselves in that way because you have honed in what your definition of what a man or your definition of what a woman is versus all these mixed signals, and you can't tell up from down, okay? But yeah, that's my take on this war between, the social media war, pardon me, between men and women, and how it's basically just being used to divide us even more, because I don't want to get into conspiracy theories and all that, but there's a larger agenda at hand that I'm not going to go into at this current point in time. We have so much time to get nice and cozy and settled here on Planet Expression. So I'll save that for another day. But thank you so much for taking the time out to check out this week's topic. I hope that you got something valuable from it and it gave you something to just think about. Even if it was one thing, I know I was speaking all over the damn place. I typically do that, but hey, it's me, okay? And I will see you guys on the next one. And remember that you are divine. You're going to be just fine. And you're going to be right on time. All right? Don't worry about it. You're fine. All right. So if you would like to become a member of Planet Expression, or a citizen, I should say, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and you will be official on the Planet of Expression. Until next time, bye.